Welcome back. In the previous drawing with Lord Karnage, I demonstrated page layouts and working out the flow of your book. Today I'm working on the opposite end of the process, finishing, where I'm doing finishing work on Ethel the Cyborg Ninja issue number 2. And finishing is the least exciting part of making a comic book or a manga or whatever. It's the most challenging part, the most time-consuming part, and there's no ending. Like, when is a book done? It could go on forever if you're drawing little details in the background. So I'm going to show you my thought process behind finishing, and maybe you'll find this interesting or informative. I don't know. I think what's really important is that you set a deadline. Because odds are you're self-publishing, which means that you control your own destiny, but you can't spend the rest of your life working on one book. So you have to set a deadline and also set a style. Let's get started here with Ethel, issue number 2. And by started, I mean finishing. Let's wrap this damn thing up already. I've been working on this for like 3 years. Did a very poor job scheduling on this one. I did this one last night. Thrilled with this. She's battling the robots from the Build a Panda robot factory at the Dead Mall, obviously. I'm gonna do 3D modeling on the sword last because I suck at drawing swords. I'll get there eventually, but at the moment I'm gonna use a crutch and go with the 3D model on the sword and I'll draw over that. But until then, we can get a good shot here of the panda robot being sliced in half. And while I was at swim practice last night, I sat there and did all the work on this. Love this. It just reminds me of one of my favorite comic books of all time. And if you haven't read this, go out and buy it immediately. Hard Boiled by Jeff Darrow. Except Jeff Darrow would have filled this with beer bottles and there'd be like a knocked over tanker truck full of dildos or something in the background. Like, Jeff Darrow's a genius. Anyway, here we are in my home away from home. It's InDesign. I'm laughing because I am so sick of this job by now. But that's actually the single greatest challenge finishing things. A large project where you've been working on it for a long time, you just want it to be done, but you have to just stay focused and finish it to the best of your ability within reason, within the time. And like my deadline is end of July for this book, 2019, not 2084, 2019. Because I need to get this done to go work on the next several books. You can see on the top bar, I've got a Manga Ronin, old-timey pictures with silly captions, Magnum Skywolf, which I'll show you some more of that soon. My 1939 New York World's Fair book, which is actually just in the very, very rough assembly and layout phase. I got these amazing pictures. So yes, I'm the only guy in the world working on a book about talking spaceships, half-naked cyborg ninjas, murderous robots, drunk space chickens, an alcoholic pilot from the 70s who was trapped in a glacier in Antarctica, and a bunch of historical books. But there's a problem right there. We're gonna fix it. I showed you this in the previous Omega Ronin video. When I screwed up something, I opened. One of the greatest things about working in InDesign is at any of the Adobe suite. I know a lot of people are unhappy that Adobe's basically just a paid service now, but I mean, their shit all works really well together. So we're gonna open this guy up here. Photoshop. Oh, there's Omega Ronin. Bam! There we go. So I'm in Photoshop, still got my layers. It's one of the great things about working with Procreate and the Photoshops and the Adobe stuff, even though Procreate's not Adobe, is it comes through in layers. So I did go through, and her chainsaw is named Precious, by the way. Alright, so I just selected the space scene, and we're gonna throw some stars in there. Starfield. Pretty stars. Look at the pretty stars. Alright, and I need lasers now. I have in my favorites. I'm going to go light brush for this. Ready for lasers? Is everyone ready for lasers? Yeah. It's like a frickin' space disco. There, so those images those images just updated themselves. So Edit Station 1 shading is on there. Her arms are actually the correct color this time around. Scroll down here to these pages. Now this is a good example of a page that I leave to the very end. Now I want to explain why that is. I think when going into any big project like this, you want to get the easier stuff done first, and then leave the really, really hard, complex stuff to the end, because at that point you know how much time you can spend on it. So you can see she's literally wearing every single weapon in her collection at the same time, and that's the joke. She can't even move. So I'm probably going to end up cleaning. Like the writing is not final yet, and there's going to be like a background in there. She's walking down the hallway, and that's going to be the last thing I draw. Because if I'm totally out of time, I can just make it a little simpler. If I have a lot of time, maybe I want to sit there and I don't know, spend like another 3 hours on it or something. It's deadlines are kind of critical for that kind of organizational thought process. Here's one of the other final shots I've been dragging my feet on. It took me a while to figure out the whole like mall set. I didn't do. Frequently I'll go through and make maps of stuff if it's going to be like an important part of the story in a recurring fashion. I don't know that we're going to be visiting this mall much after Ethel goes through it with the machine gun that Gung Ho uses from G.I. Joe. What she's holding here, I need to reference, what is it, the M203 or whatever, with the grenade launcher. These things really blow up, by the way. Never mind. Let's think here. Where am I in this layer? Is that the right layer? Yes. Oh no, it's the sketch layer. Here's a sketch. You can see what the sketch looks like. This. Got Edit Station 1 screaming here. I'm not going to show you any other spoilers. Let's pop this one out there. So there you go. There's the sketch. This looks like actually I flipped that one. That's right, I think I flipped it because she was facing that way and I didn't like that he was sort of talking that way, so I flipped the shot. That's why the dialogue's bad. You can't even read thing is, I can't read my handwriting when it's going the right direction, let alone the wrong direction. Back at it, I was watching the rough cut of this video and realized I made a critical error in this drawing. So part of finishing is making mistakes and then catching them. Did you guys spot it earlier? She's cutting the same half. Since I wanted that one spinning around, and I guess the best way to fix this is going to be to just make that two separate robots. So, you know, what would be funny is we could draw its cyborg, its robot eye popping out of its socket. And this video is long enough, so I'm not going to show you that. Draw that thing. I do have one other thing to fix, which I spotted last night going over my proof. Yeah, this project is such a mess because it's like laid out in a different way than what I would do now. Like the 3 months, or I don't know, it's been 2 months I've been working with Procreate and putting together all these new jobs. I've developed a much better workflow. So if Edit Station 1 is saying, oh no, you know what face he's going to have. Alright. Oh no, he's got a D. His face does, like the orientation of his monitor changed from the earlier books because he had a software upgrade. So if anyone's like, oh Mark, your consistency's up. No, you're just wrong. I should know, I'm the guy that made it. He had a software update, everything's fine. He is still just as much an asshole in this book as he was in the previous one. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do, I think. T for Truxton. Let's see, we're going to put... let's reference one of the other things that I referenced. Ah! I have just the thing. Referencing one of my favorite of the old classic game room reviews. Is everyone ready? You know where I'm going? In honor of a sadistic green son of a bitch. sleep in graveyards. Dr. 8-Ball. Is there anything that doesn't benefit umlauts? No. It's a rhetorical question. It's like rivets. Everything's better with umlauts and rivets. Everything. Let's see, what's I using? The screen tone D, right? Yes, there it is. Look at that. Okay. There, you can now shop at the Goop. I put some shading in here. I'm not sure if the other videos saw it. I filled the whole balcony here with some of these things. And then, look, you can buy sexy, hot, and new weird Android things that eventually go crazy and try to kill you. And then there's the shop behind it where it says, like, Build a Panda. Something, something, something. It's an establishing shot. I think it needs a lot of detail, and I want you to just spend some time looking at this stuff, laughing and going, wow. Mark has problems.